everybody, welcome back to our channel. As you can see today, I am by myself. Markel is not with me today. And that is because I am finally gonna record my coming out video. It has been a long awaited video. A lot of people have requested that we make these videos. We just wanted to wait until the right time that we felt ready to actually share our stories. And we decided when we wanted to share our stories, sorry, Kenai's here and he's licking my hands. Stop it, mister. But we decided that when we wanted to share our coming out stories, we wanted to do it separately, not with each other. Markel is currently at work right now. And that is because, yes, our coming out story, obviously we were together when everybody found out, but we also experienced our own story in the process as well. And so that is why we are deciding to do it separately. So our girlfriend tag is technically kind of our coming out story, or our coming out really, because before that, very select people knew. Our families knew, of course, but very few friends knew about us. And you know, that was when we were just kind of like, you know what, let's do it, let's go big or go home, let's just, you know, let's come out to the world. So that technically kind of was our official, like, hey, I'm gay video. Okay, you're driving me crazy. I love you, buddy. If you haven't watched that video, you can go back and watch that, and kind of, that's just us announcing that a lot of questions around who I was, and we just, you know, addressed those, and that I was Markel's girlfriend. Me and Markel have been together for 10.5 years now. She's my first ever girlfriend, and vice versa, first ever love. And I am beyond lucky to have her in my life. So before I actually start, I think that, you know, with the coming out process, I think the very first person that's most important to come out to is yourself. Before you kind of come out to anyone else, is being okay with yourself and feeling comfortable with yourself and feeling like you're in a safe place to tell people. So I think with my process, it started in 8th grade. So I think that's 14 years old. So one night, it's kind of I feel embarrassed with this story, but so one night I had a dream and it involved a girl, and that absolutely just terrified me. Like, it freaked me out. It was new to me. I've never experienced that before. It just completely rocked me. The next morning happened to be Sunday, which also meant church. So for those of you that don't know, I was raised LDS. I was raised in an LDS home. So Sunday we had church, and my family was always early to sacrament meeting, or the main meeting that they have in church. So we were probably there 10 minutes early, just you know, sitting waiting for the meeting to start. The music was playing, and I just was restless sitting there. I kept thinking to myself, you know, how could you have this type of dream? You're such a disgusting person. I shouldn't even be here right now. I'm for sure going to hell for even having this dream. You know, God doesn't love me anymore. All these thoughts were going through my head about how terrible of a person I was. And I finally just kind of broke down. So I got up and I went to the bathroom, and I was probably in the bathroom for 20 to 30 minutes, and I was just sobbing, just uncontrollably, couldn't gather myself, just crying, because I was just devastated and felt like the world's worst person. And after a while, my mom obviously noticed that I wasn't coming back to sit down, and it's been a while. She came into the bathroom and found me just in tears. And her and my dad took me home, and we kind of had just a little conversation about what was going on and what happened, what caused me to just lose it. I don't know that I went into full detail with them, just because I was super kind of embarrassed and just, you know, just didn't feel like sharing it completely. So after that, over the course of the next few months, I think I fell into a pretty dark depression. Chemical imbalance is what the doctors called it, but I like couldn't function. I just kind of reclused into my own little world. I didn't want to be around people. A lot of anxieties. I would go to school, and so in my school, I don't know if it's different in anybody else's, but we had 6 periods, 6 hours. So I would make it about halfway through my first hour, if that, and just like the anxiety was too much that I had to go down to the lunchroom. The reason I went to the lunchroom is luckily my mom was a lunch lady at the middle school at the time. Otherwise, I have no idea what I would do. Like I couldn't function. So I'd go down to the lunchroom. My mom would kind of try to calm me down. She would give me the medication that I was prescribed by the doctor, and then once I was calmed down enough, I would go to the counselor's office. But the medicine that I was prescribed also made me very sleepy. So I would sleep from about, first hour, halfway through first hour, until almost 5th period. So I was asleep like the entire day. I don't know how I passed 8th grade, but I did. Come 9th grade, things had kind of evened out with like my chemical imbalance and depression. Like I was okay. I also, 9th grade is freshman year, so I also had sports to look forward to. I could put, 100% of my focus into sports. I lived, eat, breathe, drank sports. I loved everything about them. I played year round. I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. So I could just focus purely on like my sports. And so the rest of my high school career, those feelings, those anxieties about things never really did come back up. I think also because I was never ever attracted to anybody in high school. I tried to have boyfriends. Nothing ever seemed natural to me. I was always just uncomfortable and awkward and didn't know how to talk to guys. Like I didn't care really. But I know that they were still there, but I was able to push them into a small little corner in the back of my brain and not really think about them anymore because, I wasn't attracted to anyone, so those feelings never resurfaced until my senior year of softball when I met Markel. And as a lot of you know too, if you haven't watched the How It Began video, go back and watch that because it talks about how Markel absolutely despised me for a while. She thought I was a brat, to put it nicely. But once we got past the hate, when we started to talk to each other often, there was something about her to me that I just felt incredibly drawn to. It was so easy being around her. I wanted to be around her 24/7. I'm a very awkward person when it comes to talking to people, but with her, everything just came so naturally to me. I was just very, very drawn to her. So after, we started dating, which was the end of my high school senior year, I graduated and went off to college in Orem, and she obviously stayed in our hometown and had to go back to high school. So it was about a year later that everything just came crashing down. The question is, how did we come out to our parents? We didn't. I'm gonna let Markel tell her side of how her family found out, but it was about a week, not very long after her family found out, that mine found out. And it wasn't because I told mine. It was, I needed money at the time. I was a poor little college student, and I had an iPod Touch that I wanted to sell, and a family member offered to buy it for me, but the problem is that my number was blocked from Markel's phone, so our only means of conversation was through emails and Facebook messages, stuff like that. So I sold my iPod Touch to a family member, and I did not clear it correctly. So all of those emails were still on that phone. or the iPod, and that is officially how my family found out. So after everybody in my family knew, those next few days were incredibly hard. I was getting a lot of phone calls from my family. I never questioned whether or not they still loved me, but it was very hard for me because I felt a lot of pressures coming from them to, you know, not be gay, I guess you could say, that, or not to make this type of a decision. And finally, you know, all those pressures just got to me, and I broke, and I had enough, and I was like, you know what, you guys win. I'm gonna do what you guys want. I will be straight. I'll, you know, end it with Markel. I'll do all of these things just to try to make them happy. So after that, it wasn't very long till me and Markel started talking again. I can't stay away from Markel. I just absolutely loved this girl. And of course it had to be through, you know, emails and stuff because my number was blocked, but we started talking again and sneaking around and lying. I was also still trying to force myself to like men. I was talking to every single guy that I could think of, just to like overshadow how I truly felt. But like I said, me and Markel were talking to each other again, and this kind of put me back in the closet, so to speak, because my family was now thinking that, you know, I'm on this their path of trying to find a guy, and they didn't know that I was back talking to Markel. That lasted from 2008 to about 2010, and 2010 was when Markel graduated, and she decided to go to college in Orem as well. And so that allowed us to officially kind of be together. But again, for the second time, somebody found messages, told my family, and we came out for the second time. The only difference was this time was that we were at college on our own. So after that, we were kind of just, you know, together without anybody kind of telling us that we couldn't see each other or anything like that. It doesn't mean it was any easier because, you know, there was still, you know, my number was still blocked for a while. We still hadn't come out completely. We only had told a select few people at college that were our friends. So like I had said earlier, that I think the most important person to come out to first is yourself before you, like, coming out to anybody else. And it actually, for me, you know, I didn't really get the opportunity to really do that. So for me, it wasn't until a few years ago that I was finally, you know what, I'm okay with myself. I am a good person. Like, I had to come to the realization that I'm great. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm a good person. I try to be nice to everybody. I try to better myself every single day, and that, you know, and like I said, it wasn't until a few years ago that I finally was just confident, comfortable, and okay with myself, just the way that I am. So for me, it was a long process, and there have been a lot of bumps in the road, but once I truly accepted myself for who I was, everything got better. My relationship with my family was a lot better. For the longest time, I was just an angry person. I was mean. I didn't say very nice things to my family, especially my parents. So, but once I was able to be okay with myself, my relationship with my whole family, I improved. I was just overall happier. I wasn't, you know, hiding it. I was lying a lot, and I was lying to cover up more lies, and I just wasn't happy. You know, I don't recommend lying. But anyways, yeah, everything for me, I have felt just completely improved in my life when I finally was just like, you know what, I'm okay, I'm happy. I I love who I am. I love who I'm with. I couldn't pick a better partner to spend my life with. So if I could give any parents advice, I'm obviously not a parent. I mean, I do have a dog, but if I could give advice to parents, it would just be that just love your kid. Like, just love them. You may not agree with everything that they're doing, but love them. Love them unconditionally. Love should not be a conditional thing. For me, I know that my family doesn't necessarily agree with my choices, but through this whole process, never once have I ever had to question whether or not they love me. I know that they do, and I know that they love me unconditionally. I'm also extremely fortunate that I have such an amazing girlfriend that through all those tough times, you know, she stuck by my side even when I was a little shit. You know, I knew she always would have my back. I know she'll always have my back. And like, I'm very, very grateful and blessed that she stuck by me through all of these years. And I'm extremely grateful for her, and I love her. I think one of the big questions that gets asked by those that are either recently coming out or haven't come out yet and are scared, you know, is does this get better? Does it get easier? Honestly, there are always going to be those people out there that will never accept you for who you are. They'll never accept being gay, bi, trans, any of those. They'll never accept that, and there's nothing that anybody can do to change their mind. There's always going to be the people that want to say negative remarks or bring you down or hurt your feelings. So do those people get better? Not really. There's always going to be those people out there. But what does get better is you. You will get through it. You will become stronger. That is what's going to make things easier and better, is that you grow as a person and you become stronger. And remember, you have an entire community out here who are going to love you and accept you for who you are. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it answered some questions that you guys had about, you know, our coming out experience. You now get to look forward to Markel's coming out video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.